Well, hello. It's been a while. I haven't produced a video for a while, but I'm going to be producing videos now for the next 2 months and 11 days, leading up to many changes coming. And I'm going to explain a lot of my thoughts. I've had a wonderful year of learning the riddles and decoding them myself in my own time, observing, listening, and learning. And it is wonderful what we're seeing. We're seeing the simulation unfold, as we've talked about many times before on Spaces and here on YouTube. And it's going to be very eye-opening. I have some wonderful decodes coming, some analysis of what's going on. And I thank very much the Bear, Bearable Guy 123, and Paul, the Wizard Merlin, and Scam Daddy. I'm loving this guy right now, and many, of course, David Schwartz, for the journey and for the learning. And we are being taught by the grand masters, and there is no better people to learn from than these. And my decodes coming up over the next 2 months and 11 days will be very revealing, and I hope you enjoy them and hope you tune in for the rest of them. But let's start by highlighting my visit last weekend to the Bank of England Museum. Thank you to my wife for arranging that for us. It was highly revealing, and a lot of the things that I've learned over this year with regard to the riddles and timeline and placement really did strike a great resonance with me walking into this museum and seeing what I saw. Now, Sir William Petty, this display on the wall from 1682 says, "And we have in England materials for a bank which shall furnish stock enough to drive the trade of the whole commercial world." I think it's a great, strong sense of intent by the Bank of England, and that remains true to this day. Inside the main hall, the first thing that struck me was it had 4 walls that all looked like this, but on all the other walls there was decorative memorabilia from history, teachings of history. But on this wall laid just a fireplace, nothing else but a fireplace. And I found that highly intriguing, because what is the main scene that we've been seeing from the Bear in the last few years? The fireplace. And we know that a lot happens around this fireplace. There's no one and all meaning for it, of course, but this struck very strongly with me. There it is there. And I thought, wow, this is one incredibly wonderful clue. And of course, we've got the bricks, which is, a development of that. And of course, that can mean the BRICS nations, among many other things. But what struck me about this was the term long annuities. What does long annuities mean? It's an annuity is a financial product that pays out a fixed stream of payments to an individual, primarily used as an income stream. Now, that's what I feel a lot in the XRP community feel we are working towards in the new financial system, is that there will be passive income streams from just holding our coins. And what better way via long annuities, I feel, is the message that I think the Bear is portraying here, among other things, many other things. What is also interesting was there a number of coins displayed, of course, from the past, telling a story of a former currency. Now, this one, the Carolus for 1797, was the most intriguing for me. There was a couple with that name. Of course, we've got here another coin with the 4 shields as an emblem, and we've seen this symbology much over our learning. Now, the Carolus was an old coin that was minted at the time of Emperor Charles V. And of course, that's interesting because we have King Charles now in play. It existed in both gold and silver, and was first minted in 1517. And one of the other websites I was looking at is basically representing currencies. This is an old currency, and the carolus reminded me very, very much of the carousel. Sorry, it's such a bad picture. But you know what it looks like. And what's below the carousel? Well, we have the stocking that represents the US dollar. Now, some say it's yellow, some say it's gold. I don't think it needs to be debated. It's sort of that color scheme. And whether that leads you to believe or agree or debate that it could mean that the USD is going to be gold backed or have some link to gold, it remains to be seen. But there is enough hints there that this carousel above the USD is suggesting to me that the carolus is suggesting that the transition to a new currency is upon us. Then we had a little trip. We saw this section about gold. Under the museum in the vaults is where a considerable wealth of gold is stored by the Bank of England. Gold, obviously also known as aureum and sol. The chemical symbol of gold is the same as the sun. So we know that the riddles are heavily including gold in them, and sol, and of course, I'm pretty happy, and I think that everybody can understand that gold, in its form, is going to take some position in the future financial system. Gold is measured in 1, 2, and 5 troy ounces. And of course, 14 karat gold, lucky number 14, we know, is 58% pure. Why is this interesting? Well, I don't do it much, but Gematria fans know that XRP equals 14, one of the ciphers, and of course you add up the values of X and R and P, that equals 58. So that is a little bit of fun, but could be very, very revealing. With 14 out of 24 parts being its makeup to create 58% pure 14 karat gold. Could be some number symbology there. Remember, XRP did all-time high on the 4th of January many moons ago. You never know. History might repeat. Okay, moving on. Something I found in there was Alan Turing's £50 note was highlighted. The polymer note was introduced in 2021. And he was an English mathematician and early computer scientist, best known for his work for decoding encrypted messages from Nazi Germany during the Second World War in 1939. In 1952, Turing was convicted for having a relationship with the man, and pardoned by Queen Elizabeth in 2009. The back of the note shows a trial model, and this is the interesting bit, of Turing's automatic computing engine, the ACE, His date of birth, the 23rd of June 1912, represented in binary code along the bottom of the note. In an interview in 1949 with the Times, Turing said, "This is only a foretaste of what is to come, and only the shadow of what is going to be." He had built an electronic calculator that could calculate beyond what was thought possible at the time. And here we see in the scene of the casino table the golden knight. So we've got that gold theme again with gold coins, with what can be seen as something up his sleeve. And the phrase, "he's got an ace up his sleeve," comes to mind. Of course, he's holding the king and the queen. And you could protest that maybe the jack is up his sleeve, but it's probably the ace, which is the next in the order. So it can mean many things, having an ace up your sleeve. But I dare say there's probably an element of the automatic computing engine referenced by Alan Turing, and a £50 note, which could be a little clue as to a price of a certain asset at a certain time, perhaps. In my videos coming up during September, you will find my my analysis of these scenes in greater detail, and we'll talk about that more. But I do find that this could lead us to a very, very interesting price point at some point in the future. And then finally, had some inspiration as I crossed the road before entering the museum. I think the previous day I'd been watching Cicada 3301 video on YouTube. Highly interesting. I haven't done a lot of research into that. There's something I never really fell down. But it's clear to me that all of these riddles come from a basis of that cicada beginnings. And I'll talk about that again later in another video. But here, my inspiration. I walked into the main hall with my daughter, found a coloring area. 2 minutes later, I produced this, my depiction of EOY, and a simple use of numerology in reducing the zeros and reducing the nines, because they just wrap around and create the same number anyway. And that leaves us with an E, Y, and a 2. Y being the most predominant part for me, because Y is the 25th letter of the alphabet. So what I've been saying for a while is you shouldn't be getting too excited until we get to the year 25. Again, 2 and E. E is the 5th letter. 25, the strongest message in this riddle, in my opinion, which leads to many degrees of understanding of 13 and 1. And the 3, 2, 1 in the Malta flag that we had on the fifth flag, the FF. Anyway, so that was my little bit of inspiration. You're going to see my thoughts transgress as I tell you over the next coming months. The 2025 is where it's at. For the continuation, the transformation of the new financial system. But I can tell you what's coming is going to be fun. And if you're of the same sort of mind as me, you are going to enjoy the next 2 years. Although enjoy might be an intriguing word. If you're the type of person that's willing to sit back with a box of popcorn and be open-minded, you might find it enjoyable. But anyway, let's see how things go. And good day to you. Have a lovely one. And see you on the next video.